There's not going to be a Gloomhaven episode this week, obviously, but I want to definitely show you this game that I had discovered from, I was watching some people on YouTube play this game, and this is a very interesting game that's actually available on Steam. Now, this game wasn't given to us. We didn't actually contact the developer. I was just playing it, and I was having so much fun, and I just wanted to talk about it. So I bought this with my own money. All $2.99 as of the time of this recording is what I paid for it. It's in early access on Steam. Just search Vampire Survivors. And some of you who have played, who are old grognards like me and Jared, who have played the old Castevania games, you're going to see a lot of things that you're going to be very familiar to you. But this is not a Castevania style game. It's got the aesthetic of the original NES Castevania, but it's not a platformer. It's kind of like if Castevania and Rogue Legacy had a baby, this would be this game. And it came out on the NES. This game is very much a roguelike style game to where you do runs, and as you progress through the game, there are increasingly harder challenges to overcome, and every once in a while you're going to have some options that you're going to kind of guide your run. So first things first, and similar in the vein of like Rogue Legacy or those other kind of procedurally generated games, you don't have access to everything right off the bat. You have to do achievements, and as we'll see here, you can go into the achievement section to unlock certain stuff. Some of the maps, some of the survive a minute. You unlock this item. Then you'll be able to go through and you can see all the different achievements. Actually, there's just was recent update and actually added some new stuff. And evolving items, finding certain power-ups. And this will give you access to all the items in the game. There's kind of like a outside of game enhancement system called power-ups. So you'll get gold through the game. I have 3,500 gold right now, and I have unlocked quite a few of these upgrades here. But anytime you want to refund all your upgrades, you're going to get back full amount of money from this. You just click the button, and all the money gets refunded to you, and I have all this money now. So there's one more thing that money is used for, so you always don't want to forget this. When you start the game, you're only going to have this one character. At least when I was playing the game, this was a couple of updates ago. When you start the game, you're only going to have Antonio to play with. And then as you play through the game, you're going to unlock some of these other characters. But when you unlock them, you're unlocking the ability for you to purchase them. So each one of these was about 600 gold. Some of them were more. And I think this character was actually unlocked via a code that was kind of being spread around around this game. So there's a way to get that character. And there's actually some new characters I don't even have yet from the new update. So we're going to... Yeah, so we're going to just keep in mind when you refund money, they don't refund you the characters. You purchase a character, they're going to be permanently unlocked for you, and you don't have to worry about keep rebuying those characters. And the interesting thing about the power-ups, let's take a look at the might power-up. The might power-up is worth 200 gold for the first level, and max health is also worth 200 gold. So I say, oh man, I want more max health. I'm going to buy that, right? You notice that the might level 1 went up in cost. So every time you buy an upgrade, it increases the cost of all the other upgrades by, I believe it's 20%. So the order you buy upgrades is actually quite important because you may want to buy something more expensive to kind of bypass or ignore some of that increased cost that you're going to incur on the other items. But right now, we're going to go in as if we were brand new to the game, and we don't have any of this stuff. We're not even going to look at it. We're going to avert your eyes. And we're going to start with Antonio. And we're going to start with the first level, with the first character. Now, every character, as you see in the little character sheet, these are going to be all their stats. This character, he has a +1 just because that's that character, and this character doesn't have any increases here, but everyone has a passive. Everyone has a passive ability, and this character gains 10% more damage every 10 levels, and these characters can level up. They only level up inside the game. They don't level up outside the game. So every time you start a run, you're at level 1. And you can get up to 50% more damage, and each one of them starts a weapon. So this is the whip, and this is the magic wand, and all these different characters have different weapons here. So we're just going to reset everything. Go into the game as Antonio, the first character that you're going to see. Like I said, as far as I remember playing, that was the only character that was available until I played a couple of runs, and then I was able to buy some of these other characters. All right, so we select this, and now we have a choice of, originally, before this last update, I only had a choice of the Mad Forest and the Inlaid Library. This Green Acre is something I just unlocked. Ooh, enemy health plus 50%. That's got to be tough. We're going to get, well, I'm not even going to play that yet. And I'm going to be talking while I'm doing this. I need to concentrate. This one I'll need to concentrate on. Obviously, you're not going to see this hyper button. This hyper button we're going to get into. It's something you can unlock just like everything else in the game. It's something that eventually you're going to reach some achievement, and this hyper button will show up for you, and it just kind of makes things faster and be able to get into the game a little bit quicker. But we're going to start in the Mad Forest. We're going to start our run, and now we started. So now I'm not hitting any buttons. You can see, if I had a camera set up, you couldn't see my hands. Like you can see my hands, I'm not doing anything. It's always just whipping. Whip, 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 whip. Now I'm moving my character. And you can move with the W, A, S, and D keys. You can move with the arrow keys. And see, now I just got one of those blue gems. So sometimes those blue gems drop. That's experience. You see the top bar at the top of the screen. I'm going to collect some more of these gems. You're going to see I'm going to level up. And now, welcome to your first level up. Game is going to pause itself, so nothing can attack you when you're here. So take as much time as you need to figure out what you want. So up here, you can see we have a whip. This is the one we started with. So we have level 1 of the whip. We have a total of 8 levels. And most weapons, most if not all weapons, have 8 levels. And all 3 of these items, the magic wand, the rune tracer, and the whip, are all weapons. They're going to give us either new projectiles that we can shoot out from our character automatically, and they all follow their own rules. Or we're going to be able to level something we already have. And you can equip up to 6 weapons. You could also equip up to 6 non-weapons. And we're going to see coming a couple of those maybe and further level ups. You're going to start seeing that there's going to be other items that we can get that modify our character in some way. Right now, the question is, we want more whip, or do we want some of these other things? So we're actually going to take a risk. We're going to take the Rune Tracer. We're going to see how that works. And see, it has a fire. There it goes. And I see it starts. See, it doesn't last that long. As you level it up, it may get better. But if you get it in the right angle, if you get lucky enough. Oh, I don't want to take damage. So things in this game don't have projectiles. You're the only one that can create projectiles. And like I said, this happens automatically. The bad guys just try to walk into you. And that's how they hurt you. And some of them do it quite quickly. All right, so we can take the clock lancet. These are all, again, weapons. The clock lancet doesn't actually do damage, but it will shoot in a direction in a clock, so it'll shoot up and then up right and then down right and then down. It'll keep rotating around your character, so you'll kind of get a feel for where the next shot is going to be. But like I said, it doesn't actually do damage, but it freezes the enemies, and a frozen enemy doesn't do damage to you, and you can walk through it without any problems. Just got to make sure you're not walking through them while they come out of being frozen. And the fire wand is some random fireballs that get sent out from your character. It's a lower cooldown, so it doesn't happen quite as often, but they do a lot of damage, but it is random. It does fire it in an enemy's direction, unlike the Rune Tracer, where it's actually random. But we're going to take the Rune Tracer because that base speed will make it move a little faster, and it's going to do more damage. So we're going to try to make that Rune Tracer a bunch better than it actually is right now. Take out all those things. You see? We hit the minute mark, and now more enemies, more types of enemies are spawning, making the game a little more difficult. Actually, these little aesthetics, these trees and skulls and stuff, weren't actually in the last update. They actually just added these, and actually there were little obstacles that I have to move around. But hey, it's something that my Rune Tracer can bounce off of. And as you just saw before, I was able to attack that little torch. And anyone who's played Castevania knows that you can attach torches, and sometimes you find items in them. You see that? Also, you see that bat with the blue circle, the blue outline. That's a tough enemy. It's going to take a bunch more hits to be able to defeat that enemy, but we might get a reward for doing so. Oh, taking some damage. So the Spellbinder is one of those passive, and also the Bracer as well. The Bracer is also one of these passive items. So it doesn't do any more damage in the sense of it doesn't send a new projectile out, but it increases the speed of all of our projectiles. So some of the weapons will tell you, hey, I don't really care about the weapon speed, so you won't actually get an increase for this. But the Rune Tracer, I know, will get faster with this. Also, we could take the Spellbinder to increase the duration, so the Rune Tracer will last longer if we have the Spellbinder, which I think is the right course of action here. Ah, my life. So that Rune Tracer, we wanted to get that Rune Tracer so we could actually do damage to these enemies, but it didn't last that long. But now, you see it's lasting a bit longer. You see we got that red gem out of that enemy we talked about. Red gems give us more XP. And we're going to actually take the cross here because we're surrounded by a lot of enemies. But the red gems actually give you more XP. So the blue gems give you the least. And as you get higher level, you're going to need more XP to level. Then comes the green gems, which you haven't actually seen green gems yet, which will give you a little bit more. And then the red gems give you a lot. But we're going to pick up the cross, and hopefully that cross is going to be able to fly around and do some damage and keep us alive, because we're very hurt right now. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go over floor chicken and try to survive a little bit longer. So anytime you destroy one of those torches, use a random item that can come up, and you could hope that you're going to get something good. There's a bunch of different power-ups in the game. And this game also has some comedic elements to it as well, about some of the some of the patch notes are quite funny. But we're going to take the whip just to make us whip more. And you notice now we have 2 projectiles for the whip, not just in front of us, but now behind us as well. So it's going to keep us a bit more protected as we're going through this game. And we're still quite hurt, and we don't have any health regen right now. So we're going to try to find some more of that floor chicken before some of these more dangerous enemies kind of come up. Oh, just a coin. And there's no end. So just to clarify, there's no end to this level. There's no like border to this. I can keep going up for a long time, and I will never reach the end of this level. I'll keep going left or right. It'll just keep giving me more terrain to walk over. I see that Rune Tracer starting to really pile on the damage as more and more enemies kind of populate the screen. Specifically for, hey, lasts that, 0.3 seconds longer and it does more damage. It's been helping us out for this long. Let's take that. Remember, we can get as close as we want to these enemies to the point they damage us. But I don't want to take any damage. But you can get pretty close, and, sometimes you have to kind of snake your way through to protect yourself. Let's try to kill that bat here. Man, that bat's taking a lot of hits. There it is. Another red gem. So that red gem's quite protected. Oh, another floor chicken. Let's try to clear out the enemies here. And just because we left the screen, some of you old school gamers are gonna be like, "Oh no, those items disappeared." No, those items stay on the floor. To the point where we can come back to them at a later time and try to lure the enemies away. See, that red gem is still there. Let's see. We're gonna stick with the whip. Do more damage. And we're a little above 50% health. So we're not gonna get a new weapon just yet. We're gonna get the Spellbinder just so that Rune Tracer lasts even longer. Ooh, another chicken. Okay, now we're looking at it. Okay, so that's a bag of gold. Gold can be used to buy those upgrades that we looked at earlier. See, our whip is doing pretty good now. Whip got more damage, so our whip is able to instead of having to hit those skeletons multiple times, they're able to do one shot. So, which is important because I have a lot of things chasing me. Don't have good things for me. They don't have good intentions for my health. So you notice all of a sudden we got stuck in this arena. So stuff like this will happen. So as the time progresses in this game, that the enemies are going to get tougher, more enemies are going to spawn, different types of enemies are going to spawn. And in this level, specifically every once in a while, you're going to get encased into these kind of like venomous plants. And they're going to keep marching forward, and you're usually going to get trapped inside with a boss, like that big, the insect-looking thing. I like more damage and more area. Area means the attack is larger, so I don't have to get as close. And it'll hit more enemies. And base damage, I always like more damage. Just gotta be really careful. Those green enemies too. So those kind of zombie-looking guys, they're pretty tough. And that big guy, the praying mantis-looking guy, is also very, very tough. We're gonna try to do as much damage as we can without taking any damage. I'm gonna grab that coin because we like money. We're going to try to get as much XP as we can. We're actually going to try and see what's in here. Oh, just another coin. That Rune Tracer is doing work. Oh, we took out that boss and we found a chest. We're going to have to wait to collect that chest because we do have a lot of things that don't have the best intentions for our health right now. Try to get more health. Not, we just got a coin. So that's affected by luck. There's a luck stat in the game, and you can get items and also passive upgrades that increase your luck. We're going to grab this chest. Now, obviously, you see the game is paused. This is a good thing, so you don't worry about taking damage when you're opening up a chest. So, you know, click this thing, and right off the bat, we get 3 items. So you can either get 1, 3, or 5 items when you open these chests. So the key note is, you notice that everything got in the chest is something we already collected. We got a cross, and we got 2 of those spellbinders, which let our effects last longer. And it's already level 4. So all the levels are cumulative. So if you get increased damage or increased percentages, they all add up. So when you open a chest, it only gives you stuff you've collected so far. So it had only a chance of giving us more whips, more rune tracers, spellbinders, and crosses, because that's what we collected so far when we touched the chest. And you saw we kind of flashed for a second. That's to give you a second that you're kind of immune to damage for a short time after you come out of the chest, to reorientate yourself to where your character was and what the field looked like before him. And there's more of those green gems there. So now we have a choice. We can garlic is also a weapon, fire wand is a weapon, and a cross is a weapon. But I think the cross has been doing good things for us, and having it be bigger and faster is a good thing. As you see, when the cross flies out, it flies in a short distance and then flies in the opposite direction, way off the screen, hitting anything in its path. So it's a nice weapon to try to... and I believe it always shoot at the closest enemy. So you can kind of try to manipulate where it goes by having something really close to you. Oh, we gotta watch out for those hordes of bats. Oh, I'm taking damage. We just healed up. We are getting a bunch of XP. We gotta be real careful. Not take too much damage. Sometimes it's better to run away than to try to fight them, because you might not have enough damage. Lucky cross. Oh, there we go. And that Rune Tracer is doing its work too. Remember, we have a whip, and it's pretty high level, but we got to get close to use it. Oh, I got caught on that tree. Ooh, that's a vampire bat. That's a tough enemy. It's not a boss or anything like that, because you'll see that there eventually could be a bunch of them. Okay, so then the one thing we notice is that some of our weapons, especially the Runecaster, it takes a while to fire out. Once it fires out, it bounces around for a while, and then a new one will fire out. We can take the empty tome and make that cooldown, the internal cooldown, and we don't really know how long. That doesn't give us any indication, but it has a longer cooldown. Let's say the whip, and also the cross has a cooldown, so it fires across, and then it has some sort of amount of time it has to wait before it shoots another one. So the empty tome will help all of our weapons, most of the weapons, but all the ones we have now will be affected by it, I believe. Spinach is just overall good, just does more damage. We're just gonna do, and then, or we could take the Rune Tracer and get one more projectile. So when we fire out projectiles, it's gonna do one more. We're gonna take the spinach because just like Popeye, we need to eat our spinach. And we're gonna try to take out this bat. We've been fighting this bat for a while, and hopefully that cross is gonna keep all those other enemies away from us. Because we're hoping for either a chest or one of those red crystals. Oh, we did a lot of damage there, which is good. There it is. I'm gonna open that chest. Ooh, we got 3 items. Wow, we actually got 5! Yes! Look at all that stuff. Yes. There is a progressively less chance that you're going to get 3 items, and even a less chance you're going to get 5 items out of a chest. Most default is 1. We're going to get, we got 2 Runecasters, we got 2 whips, we got a spinach. We're going to be pretty good at this point. But there are some items in the game that increase your luck. That will increase your chance. Plus, we're going to get 233 gold coins. All right, so now we're cooking with gas. We're going to take the clover. We just talked about it. Being lucky is good in this game, so we're going to take the clover for a bunch of reasons. But we want more items faster. That's really the goal. Oh, see, the vampire bats are a little tougher. We got to be careful. But also, there's a special bat. You see the blue border around him hiding behind those vampires. He's hiding. He fears us. Ooh, and this is a power up. These items drop out of the little torches. This is going to pull all the items on the ground towards us. So anything that we left on the ground is going to get sucked up towards us. So we'll be able to level up pretty quickly. The Pichon is another weapon. It kind of flies around you and does damage. But we're going to take the whip because we're kind of invested in the whip at this point. And we like being lucky, so we're going to grab the clover. And more spinach. And oh, we died! And this kind of gives you an overview of your run. Shows you that, your gold multiplier, if you had one, how long you survived, how much damage did your weapons do. See, the Rune Tracer, even though it was random, it did the most damage. The whip, the whip did a lot of damage just because it was nearby. We would specifically walk people into the whip, and we started with it, and it was also a higher level. But even then, a level 5 Rune Tracer did more damage than a level 7 whip. So that's telling you something. Which is also, because the items we picked really try to focus in on that. So we can look at the collection, and these are all the items that you've unlocked in the game. These are all these down here. These are all the different ability items, and these are all the different items in the game. And then, like I said, we have the Rune Tracer, we have the Santa Water, the Bones, the Laurel. Some of these items we haven't seen yet. But as you see, we look at the whip. It ignores speed and duration. So if you have a thing that increases its weapon speed, let's say you had, where the hell is it? Oh yeah, speed. There it is. This increases the projectile speed. The whip doesn't care. The whip is not going to get any improvement because it ignores speed. And it also is going to ignore duration. So this item here that increases the duration wasn't helping the whip at all. We'll take a look at the cross. It also ignores duration, but it does take into effect the speed. So the cross would fly faster. And it even says some of these items like the axe ignores duration, but it tells you it has high area scaling. So anything that increases the area of the weapon, with like the candelabra, really the axe is really effective with that. And we have the Rune Tracer, and this is best with speed, so best with this item, and best with duration. So it means it flies faster and it stays on the screen for longer. So if you want to look up any of the items that what it does. See, this was not that expensive before, but it became that expensive because all the increases. And then that's really the last thing we can buy, and that's it. So obviously, even I can't. I mean, I've been playing this for a while. Even I can't buy everything yet. They get faster projectiles just innately. Plus, they can always get that projectile item to make things even faster. And they start with that Rune Tracer, which is really good. Harder weapon to start with. Some of these weapons are harder to start with than others because this Rune Tracer is purely random. And you have to hope that it lands correctly so you can get XP to level up to get better items. So some of these are going to have a different difficulty spike. And then some of these characters you got to be careful because like this character has less health. We're going to try this character. I haven't done too much with this character. And now we're going to go into the library. Now, we talked about the hyper, but you saw how slow and methodical the initial game was. Hyper just makes everything faster. But you get gold and in the library, so you don't get luck bonuses here. You just get gold bonus here, and you get luck bonuses as well here. Now, the Green Acres, I've never played in there before. That's something new. There is infinite left. You can go as left as you want. You can go as right as you want, but there's a limit on the top and bottom, so it constrains the map a little bit, and it makes it a bit more interesting. We're about to start a run, and you can already tell that the speed of this is much faster than the non-hyper version. And as you see the top and the bottom of the screen, that's limited. You can't go past it. So it kind of restrains you a little bit, but it makes it a little bit more difficult, but makes it a little bit more fun. And we're just going to show you that the differences between the two maps and the hyper and not hyper. And that's how, and this is kind of like the difficulty spike you can tend to expect. And then plus there's that third new map that makes it even harder because the enemies are even tougher. And this isn't sped up at all. You notice how fast we're getting those level ups, which is much faster than the first run, which wasn't hyper. We're going to take a look about the first minute, and then we're going to take a look at the end of the run just to see how crazy things get when you start maxing out some of these items. Can we survive? Ow, ow, ow. We'll grab this now. And it's just gonna be regular money. Oh, I should have gotten a chicken. And death comes at 30 minutes. Always death comes. And we got an achievement. 5,000 coins in a run. We actually know that's a new character now. Well, but that's Vampire Survivors. It's a nice little game. It's getting a lot of development, a lot of patches and updates that's been happening recently, and it's not that much money, and it's a blast to play and just have some fun, do a couple of runs. They don't take that long, and maybe even you can conquer the Green Acres. But until next time, my name is Steve from Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gamed. May all our die rolls be crits, and may you always roll max damage. You have a good night.